What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So, Cam'ron and Mase responded to Jay Prince early this morning on the It Is What It Is podcast. And they came saying some stuff that I agree with. Like, Cam and them like, yo, first of all, when you coming at us with this energy, we didn't threaten Shakur with violence. He threatened us with violence first. And you can't expect for when he threatened us with violence for us to sit back and not respond. I don't care who you are, how old you are. I'm paraphrasing, but he like, yo, we gonna say something back, right? Which they have a right to do. Then he said, Mase was like, yo, you can't, you letting him send you off to us, and you the OG, you supposed to check him about trying to send you to do his dirty work or something along those lines. And then they brought up the fact that, yo, Kendrick Lamar, I think they did bring this up. Kendrick Lamar was was basically out here doing the boy, Drizzy Drake. He was doing Drake dirty. And you didn't come out, with your chest puffed out at everybody on the West Coast and LA. You didn't come with that same energy. So how you coming at us with all of this and you didn't stand down for the boy? The boy Drake, right? And I'm gonna say this, man. I don't believe Jay Prince should have involved himself in this situation. One, because it makes Shakur look weak, like he asked and pleaded Jay Prince to help him out, which I don't think Shakur did at all. I really don't. I don't think Shakur takes this beef with Cam'ron and them like serious to the point where he needs reinforcements and security or protection from them. I just think Shakur felt like they disrespected him. He disrespected them back. Now, he shouldn't have threatened to use, get the strap or something like that. That's gun talk. He shouldn't have threatened with that, right? Like, he should have just kept it at jokes, clowning them, back and forth, clowning them, saying whatever he gonna say, clowning them. He should have just kept it at clowning them because he was doing a pretty good job at clowning Cam and Mase. I know some of y'all don't like for that to be the opinion because y'all don't like the young boys coming at the OGs disrespectfully. But let's be for real, y'all. Cam and Mase some disrespectful motherfuckers, yo. Like, I'm just being for real. As much as I enjoy them, they can be very disrespectful. And y'all know, like, I haven't even been to Harlem, but I heard our Harlem dudes give it up. Pause when I say that. How they disrespect people. You know what I mean? And now, I don't think they was really too disrespectful, like, compared to the way Cam and them disrespected Jermell Charlo when he lost to Canelo Alvarez, like, the shit that they was saying, like, again, I said Jermell was just there to not get knocked out, but the way they articulated it, like, I'm surprised Jermell don't. I would be shocked if he don't see them and want to knock their head off their shoulders. The way they can be disrespectful. Now, I don't think they approached Shakur Stevenson's fight with that type of disrespect, but Shakur felt the way again because he know the type of audience they have and he knows how disrespectful they can get. And I think he heard a clip of what they were saying about his fight being boring and he like, oh no, I gotta clown these dudes back. I gotta clown their ass back because they not finna make me the laughing stock of the internet. And that's what he did. But in doing that, he brought up violence, which should have never been brought up in the first place, right? So I think Shakur shouldn't have brought violence up. But I had no problem with him responding to Cam and Mase and clowning them back. Because the shit was actually funny, the stuff he was saying. He brought up Mase allegedly being in the car with that boy in the Range Rover with that boy. Like, what? I'm saying it like I don't know, the accent is off. He in the car with the boy. You know who was in a Range Rover with the boy. He talking about Mase allegedly being in the Range Rover with a transgender back in the day, right? I don't know if he brought up Cam running and leaving his man. Did he leave Jimmy? Who was that Jimmy he left at the Rucker hopping the fence and all of that? He was throwing jokes and he was saying, hey, he'll whoop both of their ass, which he would. And I know a lot of y'all don't like to hear that, but a boxer is whooping any dude. If they just straight up throwing fists, even 135-pound Shakur. First of all, Shakur don't walk around regularly at 135 pounds. Let's be clear about that. He does not. He walks around much bigger than that. But any trained professional fighter is knocking out any dude on the street. Most of the time, especially when they in their weight range, like, bro, like, and they ain't in shape, it's over with, right? But, yeah, I just felt like it wasn't going to be a serious situation where violence was going to happen. So, Jay Prince shouldn't have stepped in at all. I think Jay Prince looked at it like, oh, these dudes are closer to my age than closer to Shakur's age. And I see him having conflict with these dudes. So let me come in and intervene and say my piece to these two grown men and let me have this, this little, because Mase and them is close to 50 years old, right? And so he like, well, Jay Prince, bro, he got to be like almost 60 if he ain't. So he came in, but he shouldn't have involved himself in that, because Shakur was handling himself fine. It wasn't going to be a situation where I don't think it was going to be no street shit. Shakur just don't back down from like dudes clowning him. He don't like, he gonna keep talking shit just like a Harlem dude would. He's gonna talk shit just like Mason and would keep talking shit too. And that's all it was. But I think Jay Prince saw it and thought it was gonna be something that it wasn't gonna be, and overreacted. And yeah, man, he gotta just chill out, man, because although he making some like, he warning them about what could possibly happen. Jay Prince gotta remember, if we want to go to street talk and gun talk, although he got pulled out there in Texas without question, he ain't the only dude that got guns. He ain't the only one that didn't, that rolled deep. He ain't the only one that got people willing to ride for him and stand down for him or whatever. So he got to keep that in mind. You know what I mean? So I just think like it makes Shakur look like because Mase even said it. Oh, he running to go get you on us. And I don't think that was the case at all. And why I don't think it's the case is, I'm going to be for real with y'all. A lot of young boys do not take older dudes serious. And I know we have a problem with that in our community, which is why we have a disrespect across the generations, the younger and older male generation, because the older male generation ridicule young men to no ends at times. Sometimes it's really, I agree with the criticisms that the older guys give to the young men. Sometimes I believe it's just a little too far and it gets too crazy and they start being a little too disrespectful. You know what I mean? And, the younger generation, sometimes they don't want to hear shit the older generation got to say. Sometimes they hear it and they feel like, you still trying to disrespect me. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to be disrespected. And, I feel like a lot of times the older generation and the younger generation, we have to meet common ground at some point. But in this situation, They spoke their piece about Shakur fighting, Shakur being a boring fighter, and Mase talking about how he don't never want to watch Shakur again and all of that. Shakur said his piece, and they were just going back and forth, man. And Shakur was he was relentless with it, like Cam and Mase would be. So I don't feel like people are like, that young boy being disrespectful. Yeah, he was inaccurate by saying that Mase was a failed rapper. He's not privy to that information. No, he was not. Mase backed away from the game when he was at the top, right? Which, hey, he was at the top of the game when he backed away and stepped away from rap. Outside of that, Shakur just defending himself, man, and just and some people like, he being too sensitive and all that. But we know Cam and Mase are very sensitive too. You can't say shit about them. Mase was starting a war. Cam wanted to start a war with 50 for saying Koch Records was a place where artists die. He didn't say Cam and Jim, but he said a lot of artists like a graveyard for a lot of artists. Cam took exception to that. Some people say, man, Cam, you being sensitive because 50 didn't even name y'all. But, hey, man, you can't say certain things and then decide how people are going to interpret what you say. You can't, when you say something, people have a right to respond. I know y'all don't like the fact that the young boy is coming at some old legends, but, some of these young boys don't give a fuck about that. And sometimes I feel that. Because some dudes think because they legendary, they can say what the fuck they want to say. And it is what it is. And, because of where they from and how old, how much status they got, I've ran across old heads that feel like they can disrespect anybody because they older and they live longer. And I give respect to everybody. But how my father raised me, you ain't going to be saying shit and think I ain't going to bomb back on you, Joe. I ain't going to let you disrespect me and be kissing your ass and kissing your feet and bowing down to you. No man is above reproach. No man is above me responding to them when you talking crazy and getting out of your body. You know what I mean? So that's just how I was raised. So I kind of see Shakur point. And Shakur, to his credit, he been giving that energy to everybody. Everybody. I'm talking about not just to Cam and Mase. I'm talking about reporters, boxing analysts, other fighters, goddamn officials, fans, podcasters. He been giving a smoke out to radio hosts. He don't give a fuck. And to a degree, I'm like, Shakur, you can't fight every single person on here. But also to agree, I'm like, I respect it because he keeping that same energy in person. He ran across a dude that he felt like he don't like his scorecards and all of that. And Shakur told him, he told Shakur, I know you're not the biggest fan of my scorecard. Shakur said, yeah, I'm not. You're one of the worst boxing scorers Like, you're one of the, I hate your scores. You're one of the worst. And I gotta respect the fact he keeping the same energy in person. And your young bull being funny with it, man. A lot of older dudes don't like young bulls being, like, young dudes. I'm saying young bulls like I'm from Philly. I'm from Chicago. A lot of dudes don't like the young shorties responding to the older generation. They want us to just shut up and not say nothing when we're getting critiqued. And again, I don't think their critique was really malicious like that. But again, I've heard Cam and Mase be malicious in their critique a lot to be funny, right? And again, it's funny and I laugh. But shit, the way they came at Jermell Charlo for his loss against Canelo, like the way they was coming, I would be shocked if Jermell don't see them and don't want to knock them out at the same damn time. So I was just like, yo, they can be disrespectful, Cam and Mase, they can. Shakur can be disrespectful. This time they just met each other with the same type of disrespect. Like they are two individuals, three individuals that can take it there. You know what I mean? And a lot of the older generation don't like that Shakur is saying this because they rock with Cam and Mase more. The Cam and Mase are legends. They made iconic music for us to dance to forever. And a lot of people don't like Shakur's fights. And they don't like the fact that this is a young guy talking to the older generation with this type of like temerity, this type of gall, this type of I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And they don't like that from younger generations and younger crowds. But Cam and Mase often don't give a fuck when they critiquing people. So yeah, they gotta know this energy gonna come back at some point, sometime, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I just feel like Jay Prince should have stayed out of it because, listen, he ain't the only person that got crowds and crews and all of that, and got, you know, allegedly got guns and weapons and stuff. But I don't think it was gonna go that level. Shakur was talking that shit about the strap. I just think he not gonna stop talking shit about them because it is what it is. He gonna keep that energy up. I don't think it's gonna get to an act of violence at any point between Cam and Mase and Shakur. He just took exception to what they said. He responded. He shouldn't have responded with no violence talk, but he responded outside of that. Look, get the strap or whatever. He came at them with jokes and clowning them on social media, and it is what it is because Cam and Mase do that all the time, man. So. Yeah, I don't think it was that serious for Jay Prince to intervene. I just think he saw the age difference between them and was like, oh, let me step in. They closer to my age. But Shakur 27, he can handle himself, and he's been handling himself very well. So Jay Prince should have sat that out because now it looked like Shakur went and ran and got Jay Prince, and I don't think he did it at all because I don't think he had no regard for Cam and Mase.